Hi, this is a video on methylated B12 shots. B12 is an essential vitamin. It's needed for so many functions, but one of the big functions it's needed for is mental health. And when a person is deficient in B12, severely deficient, it oftentimes shows itself as a mental health issue. Methylated B12 is in a ready-to-use form for the body because your body has an extremely hard time absorbing B12. If you take it orally or it's in your food, it has an extremely hard time. So the idea is that you give the child the B12 shot in a ready-to-use form, and they can get the most out of it. Now, I'll show video footage of me giving Jake a B12 shot, and this is from about 8 months ago that I did this. This was a video from my old channel. And I'll just show the footage again. But like I said, this is like 8 months ago. This is in the summer of 2006.
Hello. Okay, Jake, I'm going to hurt your hiney real quick, okay?
Want me to hold that?
No, I'm okay, hon. Okay, Jake, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Ouch, that was hurt.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good job. That was quick, huh?
Yeah, that was quick.
So, we started the B12 shots in December of 2005, and in the first week we saw miraculous results. Well, not miraculous, we saw great results, but by the month's end it was miraculous. And I used to work with a guy who he had mental issues where he hit a truck going 60 miles an hour on a moped and fell into a coma for a month. And then, when he came out of the coma, he had brain damage. And one of the things that would happen when he would talk to me, I would talk to him, he could look at me for like 10 seconds, and he would just start doing this. And he always looked away. He couldn't keep... So one time I said, Bill, why do you always look away when you talk to me? And me and him got along. He was a freak, and we used to hang out in New York together too. But he said, that's my condition. That's my brain damage. He goes, I can't maintain focus on things. I'm always drifting off. But yeah, I hear you and I'm paying attention. I just can't maintain focus. Well, when Jake started clearing up from the GFCF diet, I started noticing this behavior in him, though. As he started to get that dope effect out of his brain. And he wasn't, smacked out on the gluten and casein in his diet. I started to notice that he would do this. And here's some footage of him doing that. I'm reading him numbers, and he can't look at me when I'm reading him numbers. I'll start to read it, and he just starts to look away. That's exactly like what this guy did who had brain damage from, that accident he was in.
3, 8, 7, 1, 4.
3, 8, 7, 4.
That was great.
Well done.
How about this? Do frick, lick, now.
Frick, lick, now.
Do alpha, beta, hypo.
Alpha, beta, hypo.
How about that was great. Do the dog was black.
Dog was black.
Now you can see in that footage Jake looking away. We give him the B12 shots, and a week into the B12 shots, I decided to do the numbers with him again, just to do the numbers, not to test anything out. And I was shocked because Jake walked over, looked me dead in the eye, and the whole process took a solid 2 minutes, and he never once looked away. He just looked at me the whole entire time. And when it was done, I was like, oh my God, I had never seen him do anything like that. The footage you saw earlier was the footage that Jake always was like. That's how he always was, up until I gave him a B12 shot, and 1 week later, he was a completely different kid. And this is what he looked like.
Ready? 5, 3, 2, 7.
5, 3, 2, 7.
Very good. 6, 1, 4, 0.
6, 1, 4, 0.
Very good. Let's try a hard one. Ready?
Yep.
2, 4, 8, 6, 1.
2, 4, 6, 8, 1.
Very good, Jake. Very good.
So you can see the eye contact was there. That's one thing we noticed with B12. Another thing we noticed with B12 is when Jake would bounce a ball, I tried to get him to bounce a ball and I'd teach him, I noticed that he couldn't look at the ball. And it's a lot like that guy who couldn't look at my face. And I would teach him, Jake, you have to look at the ball. You have to look at the ball. And I'd show him how to do it. And he would try it, and if he could stare at it, he would get for like 3 or 4, and then you would just see him start to look up. He couldn't focus in on it. About a month into B12 shots, he just brought the ball upstairs to show me, and boom, 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 boom. He just sat there and looked at the ball the whole time. And this is what he looked like originally when I would work with him.
1.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No. Oh, a little too hard?
Yeah.
Go ahead, do it again. Go for 3. 1, 2. Oh, almost. Go ahead, do 3. 1, 2.
And by a month's end of B12 shots, this is Jake with the ball. This is after a month of B12.
Wow!
Now that footage was a little bit later than a month, but he was bouncing the ball that good after a month's time. But where we really saw gains was in his speech, his words, putting words together and all that. But it goes hand in hand. He was paying attention. He was thinking for the first time about what he was trying to say, and we were amazed. I would watch him on a chair. This was like 3 or 4 days into it, maybe 5 days into it. I watched him, and he started to talk to me, and he started to think about what he was trying to say and find the right words, and the sentences just started to grow, and it went from 4 and 5 words sentence and maybe 2 sentences put together to paragraphs. He started talking paragraphs. And it was just really a miracle. It was an amazing miracle that a lot of people whose kids responded to B12 talk about. Some kids don't respond to B12. Some kids, Tiff Sherwood is a YouTuber who I really respect, and her child just did not respond to B12. And a lot of people I talked to who I absolutely respect their judgment said there was no real response whatsoever. And some parents say, well, it was some good response. But every now and then you get a parent like me whose kid just was miraculous response to B12, and we all tell the very similar story. You're not going to hear one person say, you know, my kid all of a sudden could run normal, you know, with their hands going up and down. B12 doesn't help in those areas usually. The areas it helps in are what us parents talk over and over again, you know, about the concentration and the verbal abilities. So you need a doctor for B12. And a lot of kids do not let their parents give them shots and all that. So the parents go in with when they're asleep, and they just give them a shot in their butt. And that works. But there's also numbing cream you can put on if you have to go to that. And you can numb the area, then give a shot. So you can get around the giving the shot part. That's not a big issue to get around. And the doctor will go over that with you. And you have to go with a reputable doctor in a reputable pharmacy. You got to do this all legit. You can't buy methylated B12 over the internet. If you buy methylated B12 over the internet, throw it away. It's just garbage. Don't use it. You have to go through a doctor for this. You have to make sure you're dealing with reputable people. And it's a fantastic intervention to go ahead and try. My first doctor visit was like $500, then the next visit was $85 for the office visit, and then the B12 shots cost like $70 for a month's supply. And so you're talking about $650 for the first month of B12. It was worth 10 times that amount for me. Some parents don't see results. You won't know until you give it a shot, though. No pun intended. You won't know until you try. And if your kid is one of the responders, believe me, you'll think you hit the lottery. And you won't believe you did it for $650, or even if it costs $1,000, you won't believe you got off that cheap for the results you see. So if you're thinking about doing it, it's not a big deal. Jake's never made a big deal of this. I just said, Jake, I got to hurt your hiney. He's fine. And so many parents will tell you it's not a big deal. Even the ones that the kids didn't respond, it wasn't a big deal. But the kids who did respond, it's worth it to try it out. If you can try this out, try this intervention out. This is one of the 2 restrictive diets, and B12 shots are the big things I preach. And again, if anyone tries to scare you away from this, they don't have your kid's interest in mind. They really don't. They're doing that for different reasons. You have your kid's interest in mind, so don't listen to people like that, okay? And look into B12. When you're ready for it, look into it, and always keep this in the back of your mind as an intervention that you have to try. It's one of those ones that you really do have to try. All right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.